According to research from Bank of America, 90% of parents think that family members are responsible for teaching kids how to manage money. But more than half of college students say they don't feel financially prepared for the real world. So, how do you teach your kids about financial responsibility here? Joining me now, we've got Mary Hines Drosch, who is the head of consumer products over at Bank of America. Great to have you back on Yahoo Finance with us. So, where does the conversation start and how early does it start as well? Because you say kids, we could be talking about a very wide age range.
Absolutely. Well, one of the keys to success in teaching your children to be responsible is starting early. As young as 6 years old. And when you look at children, they don't really understand the concept of money. So helping them just be aware that things cost money and some fun ways to do it, or even when you're at the grocery store with your little ones, helping them understand you're making a choice between this cereal, which is $7, or this one that is $5, so that they're just more conscious about it.
Yeah, no, my parents made me very conscious about that when I was asking them about Lego sets that I could buy and not buy.
Oh, those are very expensive.
Yeah, they've gotten up there. We can come back to that, but as of the research findings here for Bank of America, what really stuck out to you here? Because we're talking about, and we just rattled off the stat, 90% of parents thinking the family is really responsible for this task of making sure that each other is educated financially.
So think about that. 90% feel that they're responsible, yet 50% of college-age students say they do not feel prepared for the real world. So you've got to do things with your children to educate them on it, as well as to give them the experience with money. Yeah. And that's where allowances can play a big role, so that they have to decide what are their real important wants versus needs. And also the idea of you don't need to spend it all at once. If you want something big, you might have to save. So all those really help prepare the child to understand how money works.
When do you find that parents are putting some of the financial responsibilities, such as owning a credit card or having, a cell phone even, making those decisions, putting those in their hands and saying, all right, let's see how you develop some experience around this?
Yeah, well, the Bank of America research that we mentioned at the beginning also showed that most parents are getting their kids cell phones at age 11, checking and debit cards as early as 10.
Wow.
And so they're starting to experience money. And that's why we've developed a Safe Balance for Family Banking, which gives the ability for a parent in a very safe and controlled way to give their child access to an account and a debit card so they can learn how to use that money while the parent can control. Make sure that they put limits on how much they can spend or take out per day, can restrict certain categories. So the child's getting the experience while the parent can maintain control so they don't act irresponsibly.
We were talking about this before the segment, but inserting financial education, financial literacy in the education system too, are we seeing strides made here, and where do we need to make a lot more significant efforts so that it shows up for financial preparedness for college students who are coming out and getting life started?
Yeah, there's so much variability in it. Some schools do it much better. Some schools just have greater investment for financial education. And that's why we try at Bank of America to provide resources to all of our segments, especially parents and children, to learn about financial responsibility so they're on the path to financial help. So we have a site, bettermoneyhabits.com, which has just a vast array of financial education. And so even if parents can't get it within the school system, there are other resources out there to help them educate their children.
Mary Hines Drosch, who is the Bank of America head of consumer products. Great to see you again. Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so anybody that has kids, I think it's a matter of fact, it's very important to teach your kids about, saving money by using the piggy bank, and once they get older, teenager, how learn about saving money from stocks, opening your own debit card. When you go to college, or when you go to college, open up a college debit card. Also learn about credit cards and everything about financial when it comes to saving. And also building credit and everything like that. So go ahead, Hakeem, man. What's your take about, when it comes to kids, teaching them financial literacy?
I think this is so beautiful, and we have to start early. My mother started early with me. She was the financial wizard in our family, and my dad was a worker. So I got the hard work with him, but I became a mathematician to my mama. So you gotta expose kids as early as possible and understand hard work and ethic and understand investments and understand assets. We don't acquire those knowledge till later. And I think that we deprive black kids of this because we can't blame parents because they don't know no better. But at this generation, since we got access to the internet, we got to start them early. And you know what I mean, as soon as I have my clan, all 10 of them, they'll be working and slaving in the farm and knowing about Bitcoin and assets, properties, you know what I mean, all that. We gonna get all that. So you know what I mean, that's my take on it.
Yeah, financial literacy. I think it's very important for family to teach their children about financial literacy. I know right now, especially in Florida, now the schools are now teaching children about financial literacy. But however, it's not the school responsibility; it's the parents' responsibility to teach their children on financial literacy, financial literacy. Right now, a lot of children right now are on social media. A lot of them are watching TV shows on social media. To me, like I always tell people, take that 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, want something online that's very positive that can build your mind on financial literacy. Like me myself, I watch a lot of Dave Ramsey, so that always helped me on financial literacy. Not only that, on Yahoo Finance, and not only that, but there's other YouTube. I'm being honest, there's a lot of great assets when it comes to the aspect of financial literacy, and I think us as people, especially as parents, you need to take the responsibility to teach your kids financial literacy. Because right now, especially in the black community, we are not taught. We taught to get money, but we're not taught how to use money the way it's supposed to be used. And that's always keep us in the hole and always keep us in a cripple. On spot. That's your commentary.
This is very near and dear to my heart. I have a finance degree, and I actually started a financial literacy program on the south side of Chicago for young people. What
It's
I found was it was for young people. They came, and I actually invited parents to be in the room just so that they felt comfortable because I'm a stranger with their child. So parents were in the room. They sat on the outside, and we would have our lessons. And I noticed, I would look up and they'd be like writing things down or looking things up on their phone, and then they started asking questions. They started like raising their hand. I'm like, you're the parent, you're raising your hand. And so what I realized is that the parents don't really have it. And I think an important part of financial literacy, and this was part of my program, is teaching financial history. We as a group in this
mm,
country have a very specific financial history, and so we have to approach financial literacy of our children in a very different way. The cornerstone of financial knowledge is the time value of money. I start with that. I start with a timeline of how long we were denied the right to participate financially in this society. Period. Having a bank account, owning a property, all of it, and being able to invest, etc. Even having insurances. And so that was always kind of the first part of my program, is teaching the financial history and learning that money and wealth especially is a function of time. When you plug in an investment to see what the return would be, time is an element in that equation. So, someone who invested or started a business or a company or an institution 400 years ago is going to be significantly wealthier than someone that started in 2004, etc. And the same for things, all investment, things like owning property. If an entire family line has owned property for hundreds of years, and we're just now getting that as Civil Rights Act of what, 1976, then that is the financial history, because I think it takes like the shame out of what a student or a young person's family, the position they might be in. It takes the shame away from that.